These are photos taken with the Sony A7CII, and they're in the 2:35:1 aspect ratio. And for the first time on a Sony camera, you can actually compose them like this in camera. In this video, we're going to talk about how.
You may have also noticed that these aren't your traditional Sony colors. These are actually just JPEGs straight from the camera. If you're a still shooter and you shoot Sony and you're getting the A7CII or the A7CR, this is really going to be a breath of fresh air shooting with the Sony, because it's different. On the new Sony A7CII and the A7CR, you're actually able to add video markers when you're taking stills. And this means you can compose photos in an extremely cinematic, because it is a cinematic format. It's 2.351. That's the aspect ratio that a lot of movies actually use. The aspect markers can actually be made so that the part that's not in the frame that you want to see is completely black as well. So you truly get to kind of experience composing in this actual aspect ratio for taking photos. You obviously could have done this before by cropping after the fact, but you've never been able to compose and shoot this way before with the Sony camera. On top of that, you can actually have it play back with those same aspect markers on as well. So when you're looking through your photos, you've seen what you took, it displays in the same way. Now, why would you want to even do this in the first place is probably what a lot of you are thinking. Why, Chris? Why? Well, I'm predominantly a video shooter, but I do like to take stills. And there's something about, to me, the way when a photo just looks like a still from a movie, it just stands out to me. You may or may not be aware of the YouTube channel GX Ace. He posted a video a while back about the Hasselblad X-Pan, which is essentially a camera that shoots in this real super wide format. And I watched that video when it first came out. He has a fantastic channel, by the way. I will link that below. And it led me down this rabbit hole of, well, how can I do this on my Sony camera? There was never really a perfect method. And now when I stumbled upon the aspect markers inside the A7C, just as I was A7C2, just as I was leaving for New York City, I knew it was like, that is how I'm gonna capture New York City. So how do you go about actually setting this up inside the camera? Well, if you go into shooting and then marker displays, aspect markers, you can turn them on. You can then select the aspect marker that you want to use, and then you pick the level that you want it to be at. If you go all the way to the right, 15, it completely blacks out everything that is not in frame. Anything less than 15 is just a little bit opaque, down to 1 where it's like you can mostly see everything. But if you want to completely black it out, you want to completely get that experience composing in that aspect ratio, slide it all the way to 15. You can actually even go as far as assigning a custom button to turn these markers just straight on or off if you don't want them on all the time as well. I used the C2 button down here, the little trash button, because the C1 I was using for crop mode. There's not as many custom buttons on this as you used to with something like an A7R5. Then you can also add the markers for playback as well when you're looking at your photos after the fact. If you go to the playback menu and scroll down to the playback option, aspect marker display, set it to on, and again, the level to all the way to 15. When you have an image that you took with those aspect markers turned on, it will show you what it looked like with those aspect markers turned on. But it also smartly removes them if you didn't take a photo with those aspect markers turned on as well. And then for the colors, because they're definitely not normal Sony colors. I stumbled across someone that's actually making film simulations like the ones that we're used to when shooting with a Fuji camera by customizing all the settings that are available in the picture profiles. So essentially you're taking a photo with a picture profile enabled. I'll link his channel below and his website where you can go ahead and purchase the settings to change all the picture profiles to different film stock emulations. There is a bunch in there that you can pick from, and I think they were like 30 bucks. So they're really not a lot of money for what it is that you're getting. Now, I'm not gonna say that they're perfect, but just for straight out the camera JPEGs, they look pretty good. And it just opens this door of shooting in a way with your Sony camera that you're just typically not really used to, and getting JPEGs just straight out the camera. Now, obviously, we're composing, we're able to view on the camera that these markers are all kind of there. But when you throw these onto your computer or you send them to your phone, the JPEGs, they don't have those markers applied. I would love to see that as an option, just to bake in those markers. Maybe we will, because it's kind of a weird thing for Sony to add these markers anyway. So maybe they're going down that route, we'll see. So the quickest way I actually found to add these bars after the fact isn't with Lightroom or anything like that. It's just with a app on my phone. I went through a bunch, tried a different bunch of ones out there, and a lot of them don't even have this aspect ratio as an option. The one I ended up picking was called Polar with 2 R's, Polarr. I like it because you can actually load the photo from your phone and then just crop it how you want it to look with those aspect ratio bars on there, and it just saves to the original file. You can create a copy as well, but it will just save over the original if you wanted it to. I think it was like $250 Canadian a month or something like that. I will link that down below as well. If you know of one where you can do it for free, maybe comment that and I'll pin it or get it pushed to the top, because people probably want to know as well.